All right, it's Friday, September 29th. It's about a quarter till 4 p.m. I originally was going to take off today from work. Decided to leave the dock and to try to get to Avalon before it gets too dark out. Got a text from a friend who said Avalon is full on the moorings on a Friday, that there's openings in Descanso. And at this point, I'm thinking I'm just going to head to White Cove, the usual, and anchor out there. It'll be a little easier if I'm getting in past dusk to anchor versus, you know, trying to get in if it's getting dark out and everything like that to pick up a mooring single-handed. Plus, you know, Descanso's not super well protected. See the Catalina Express there? I think that's where we're headed. 4 o'clock. Main is up. We're motor sailing. Winds at about 30 degrees. Beautiful day. There's more sun out than there was. Of course, can't see the island yet, but this blue sky wasn't open earlier today, so maybe that's a sign of a nice weekend. ETA right now is about 7 o'clock, which will be after sunset. 5 o'clock update. We're just on the outside now of the shipping lanes, and winds picked up a little bit. I'm seeing 12.5 on the anemometer, but that's apparent wind. We're kind of motoring in up to 30 degrees or so. However, I look at the speed, 6.6, 6.7 is pretty good. So as the days are getting shorter, now that we're into what, almost October. I don't know why I'm looking at my watch for that, but couple things. The space on my Apple Watch is pretty cool because it kind of shows where the sun is, and you can visually see sunrise and sunset on it, so I can tell when it's going to get dark. And then on my B&G Vulcan, there's a sun and moon feature on this, so I can see that sunrise is 7:46 and it sets at 6:41, so we're not going to make it by sunset. But then on the moon rise is 7:05, so the moon should be coming up right after the sun is going down. So 10 after 6, and we've got about 4.1 nautical miles in. So we got about a mile out. We'll drop the main. Seas are slightly flatter, and I think the air's moving maybe a couple of knots less. This is pretty chill, but we're starting to lose some light. We've got about a half hour until sunset. Kind of beautiful over here. See the west end of Catalina Island fairly well. All right, we've got confirmation on Risso's dolphins. These guys seem to be diving down as soon as I'm getting anywhere near them and not popping up for a while. There's another one right over there. Quite a few boats in there for a Friday. So one guess that I have is, since it's the first weekend of lobster season, everybody and their brother's going to be out here dropping hoops. See some stuff online. People are even, you know, free diving for lobster this weekend. Wish I had gloves and a night light and a diving buddy, but we'll dive around tomorrow. Maybe we'll snorkel. I don't really see myself picking up any bugs. All right, we're speeding this up a little bit. Here we are coming into Catalina Island. As we get about a mile out, just dropped the main. Going forward, went ahead and unhooked the anchor so that I can drop it more quickly. Now we're motoring in by Hen Rock. So these boats over to starboard, there's a bunch of fishing boats. I'm dropping the anchor, messing around. I think right now I'm backing up, setting the anchor. Looks like the anchor's set. And I think I forgot to put the snubber on when I backed up the anchor. Shame on me. So now I'm back up here putting the snubber on. You can see it's starting to get a little darker out as we go on. So the sun was fading pretty fast. This is a little bit after 7, so it's about maybe 20 minutes after sunset. So there I am screwing around, trying to get the bridle on for the snubber. Maybe I back up a little bit more. Now I'm just getting things organized with the boom in the main so it's not going to rock and make a bunch of noise. You can see it's a little rolly here at the anchorage, and it's getting dark pretty quick. So we're losing our light. We just got there kind of just in time, really, before it gets dark. Little lights flickering, and over to the right are lights for lobster pots. So it's the first weekend of lobster season. And I've got all the lights on, and everything is pretty much chill now. And this is going to be my night of sleeping, is just rocking back and forth like this pretty much all night long. All right, it's about 5 after 7. It's officially captain's hour. Cheers, everyone. We're down in about 100 feet of water. Anchor snug in the usual kind of general area around White Cove. All is well, and we are ready to chill out for the rest of the evening. Well, 7 a.m. Didn't sleep well last night at all. It was pretty rolly, but I slept in, so I slept later than normal, so finally went back to sleep. But a lot calmer now than it was last night. It's a beautiful morning. Got the Irving and Exie Johnson anchored next to us. Good morning. It's about 9 a.m. I decided I'm going to go ahead and pick up a mooring tonight. We're going to be over at Moonstone Cove tonight. Small craft advisory. I'm not really worried about that, but I do think it's going to be a little difficult to get a good night's sleep if I'm anchored out here. So I was debating, like, it's not super crowded. I could get in closer to Hen Rock here, or even over towards Moonstone. So the anchorage isn't super crowded, and I could definitely get in closer to a little shallower depth. I'm not as worried about, you know, the wind and breaking free and all that. It's just, I think I'll get some sleep. Plus, I'll be in a little bit closer if I want to do some snorkeling. Might be able to snorkel right off the boat, or I'll be a little bit closer there. So we got 300 feet chain out. We're hauling the anchor. Testing the new breaker that I installed to see if we're popping the breaker. I got to keep my foot on the switch though, it helps. So one problem I have is the roller is not spinning. I need to, I think, grind it down a little bit. I don't have it super tight, but it's not spinning, so that's a issue, easy one to remediate. All right, she's cooking now. You're definitely, oh, look at that. It's a little castling up in the foredeck here. Sailing Vesta Ohana coming in hot. Hola! The Irving Johnson and the Exie Johnson are the same design of schooner or brigantine, I'm not sure. Maybe brig, I don't know. But one has a red stripe and the other has a blue stripe, so that's how you can tell them apart.
Copy that, thank you. White Cove Patrol, this is Ohana.
At Ohana?
Yeah, we wanted to pick up mooring for the night. We're 27-foot sailboat. Is mooring number 1 open?
The one in White's Landing is open.
Fantastic. We're going to go ahead and pick it up. It's all right.
Go for it.
right, another episode of Cooking with Keel Dragger. So we're gonna make a pizza today. This is gonna be a 4-meat pizza with classic crust. We'll put on some sausage, pepperoni, some hamburger, and some ham. Comes sailing vessel Aeronautical. Doing a drive-by. All right, first test of the new Henderson 7mm wetsuit. It is a bit toasty. Just heard from sailing vessel Aeronautical at Two Harbors that it is blowing 27 knots over there at Two Harbors and raining. Well, we've got rain and 1.7 knots of wind. It's no wind here. We'll hang out a little bit and see if the wind comes up on us. About 7:45. Pretty peaceful. Find these lights a bit annoying. 1 knot a keeper. That's a pretty big hoop.
Yeah, here, I'm gonna hand that to you. Like, drop. You're gonna feel when it's no more pressure on it.
So you're just putting like a regular can of sardines in there?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Ew, gross.
Right on. And then just right over the edge here?
Yeah, do it. Just watch it drop.
Doesn't look like there's anything in there.
There's absolutely nothing.
Give it another drop.
Yeah.
Good morning. It's about 7:15. See the boats are, everybody's getting ready to head out. This yacht with the generator on last night took off this morning, but slight rolls. There's a little bit of a west swell and a little bit of a south swell, so it might be a little sloppy. Winds are supposed to be like 10 to 15 today. I think the winds are actually going to shift from the southwest later this afternoon, but we're going to go ahead and leave a little early, I think. Looks like pretty chill morning. Okay. Now while the engine's warming up, we'll look at the anemometer here, the wind. So it's coming from astern, maybe about 25 or so degrees off of our starboard stern. So what that means is, well, actually we'll go ahead and drop the bow on the mooring first, since our stern will be covered here. The wind will keep us kind of pushing on the stern, so we're not going to drop the bow first, or sorry, we're not going to drop the stern first, just because our stern might be drifting while we're messing with the bow. And then the one thing we want to watch for, which you can't really see here, and I think it's already slack and running pretty deep, is the sand line. So the sand line that runs from the bow all the way back to that stern hoop. And we want to make sure that we don't get that foul in our prop. That plus running into other boats are the two biggest things we want to pay attention to and not have happen. Bow's off, and we're just taking our time with the stern. Super easy. Usually. All right, stern is off. We're gonna take one more look. Make sure we don't see any lineage. Okay, it's down and we're ready to roll. Adios, Moonstone Cove. This sunrise. Sails are up. We're making about 3 knots. No big deal right now. We left early, so it's just about 20 after 7. So we've got the 135 Genoa out as well as the full main. And our wind is about, looks like it's about 125 or so off the aft port, which is a pretty nice broad reach. All right, we're not going to do this long. Just because it's my luck, I'll accidental jibe, but wing on wing. So we got the boom out to port and the 135 Genoa out to starboard. Actually kind of like this. Well, we'll see what happens. We got to pay attention to the wind. Right now we're about dead downwind. Normally in a situation like this, I would rig a preventer on the boom to keep the boom from flying around. Still relatively light winds, about 8 knots. So not super dangerous, but dangerous enough. So we'll try and pay attention to the breeze, and some point I think I will jibe and get us back on a broad reach instead of a dead downwind run. So the wind decided to shift a little bit and jibe us easily anyways. Now we are boom to starboard on a port tack. We look way out there to port. You see some rain out there actually. With that rain might come some gusts of wind, so we're going to pay attention to that. If it starts pushing too hard, we'll reef in the head sail a little bit, maybe completely. We'll see. So Starlink is put away right now for the passage, but I've been running it almost non-stop for the last 2 days. See kind of battery pull. So I'm down right now 235 amp hours. I think it was down maybe 270 before I started the engine and ran it for a little while, but now we're sailing, so we're pulling again from the battery. There's not enough light for solar really generation, at least not very much. Doing about 4 knots now, broad reach. We got these waves kind of coming almost beam on, and just a little bit of a south swell as well. So a little bit more wind, and I think we'd be clanking around a lot less. You see this sailboat in the distance, and look right past that. You can see where it's raining to the northeast of us. So the rain's coming down from those clouds. Virga, I believe, is the term for the visible rain. And then if we look at the west end of Catalina and a little bit over to the right of that, see a little bit of rain up there as well, around some of those lower clouds. So we will, Jesus, we'll continue to roll around a little bit, and hopefully we don't get any rain. All right, so preventers would help with this, but this is really winds too light, and with these little bit of waves coming and swell, it's just clanking around a little bit. Oh, now of course it quiets down, but we're gonna probably fire up the engine and start motor sailing here pretty soon. So if this continues much longer, we're gonna throw in the towel for a little bit. It's 9 o'clock and we're about mid-channel, about 10 miles out. So I'm looking ahead of us. I just killed the engine, we were just motoring. Looking ahead of us, you can see a cargo ship up there. So that's where the southbound shipping lane is. And then you can see all this rain over here, over by Palos Verdes. A little bit more over, still towards the west. So I'm wondering, do we keep the motor on? And do we just haul in probably get a little bit of rain, likely. Or do we just do the slow creep, which is fine, and wait it out a little bit and see if this stuff blows by. I don't know, like there's this line of clouds over here. They're fairly low. And there's some low ones between us, it looks like, and LA Harbor. We'll look over to starboard. Pretty nice behind us towards Avalon. This rain over here is coming right for us. Another 10 minutes or so we're gonna get rained on, I'm thinking. We'll go ahead and get our foulies just in case. One thing I'm experimenting with is the radar. There's a little rain clutter. So this looks like there's rain. Let's go out to 12 miles. I don't know, this looks like it's pretty close. I don't know what that is. Gonna tune that down a little. All right, here we go. Wind's picking up a little bit to 11 knots and some change. 12. Getting a little bit of rain now. The winds may build a little bit more, but that's okay. Still pretty light. And we're making a little over 3 knots just with the main up, so I can put the head sail out or start doing some other things, but we got enough wind to keep the main from flogging around, which is nice, so that thing's not clankety clank. And we'll just keep her going slow, let this stuff blow over us, and then I'm guessing, at least I'm hoping, it's going to be clear once we get into LA Harbor, get into our slip. Good thing about these squalls is they come on you fast, but they leave you fast. Look at this. Nice behind us over here. But we are getting rained on. And my guess is it's going to be pretty brief before it chills out. We're back to motor sailing. Still a little bit of rain, but it looks like it's, you know, cleared up at LA Harbor. PV's pretty clear, and it looks like most of this rain's kind of behind us now. We got a sailboat back there. I can see a little wind or rain line or something ahead of us. So we're gonna go ahead and motor sail for a little bit. See if we can thread the needle here. Kind of a trip. We've got a bunch of east wind, not a bunch. See, 9 knots true. And it's true wind's coming from about 90 degrees on off our starboard now. It's quite a shift. We're about a little over 4 miles out, 4.5 miles from Angel's Gate, LA Lighthouse. So we're kind of closing in on things, but the wind is starting to pick up a little bit right here.
To the sailboat on our beam, you have a... Aeronautical, Air Force aircraft, mass flight, Erie. Aeronautical, go ahead, mass 4.
60-something foot fishing vessel, aluminum fishing vessel, partially submerged, sinking over by the east end of Catalina Island. We're not in that vicinity right now, but that's no bueno. 10:30, we're about 3.5 miles from Angels Gate, and we've got this east wind and it's raining on us again. So my hopes of landing at San Pedro with the slip and clear skies are fading away at this point. Although PV over here doesn't look too bad. Not too bad, the rain's done. And here we are at Angels Gate. All in all, not a bad passage. Although a little bit more wind would have been nice. Got a little bit of sailing in. A little sloppy out, but that's fine.